Welcome to the Help Myself Podcast. Listen, I'm your host, John M. Singletary Sr. I've got to put that senior in there because I've got my junior, aka LJ. That's my co-pilot in this podcasting game and in this amazing journey that we call life. Such an honor. And today, listen, I had so many amazing people, women specifically, that I wanted to have conversations with. And so we get a special extension, even though Women's History Month ended last week. We've got extra bonus episodes. And so today I have the privilege of interviewing my co-host on the They Jammin Podcast, LaTwana Taylor, LT, as we call her. She is an author, a speaker, a leader, a mighty woman of God. She's so many things, but she is a whole entire vibe. And I've had the privilege of co-hosting with her and getting to know her, learning the amazing intricacies of her story and how she used her pain to be a pathway for others to navigate their own stories of grief. And so I am so honored and excited to introduce to you LaTwana Taylor.
Choose joy. That's it. I talked about it in the beginning of the episode. I just want y'all to choose joy. Whatever comes at you, whatever comes to you, whatever you're going through, choose joy, choose joy, choose joy. Right now, the Lord has been working on my patience. And so I wanted to read y'all the textbook definition of it. And it says the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. And I think it's the getting angry or upset part that we deal with the most, right? Because we feel like what we want is what we want and we want it when we want it, right? But I want to encourage you to wait well, meaning in your waiting time, make sure that you are waiting without bitterness, that you are waiting without anger. And James 1:4 says, but let patience have its perfect work so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. And what I mean by that is that if you don't have it, you don't have it and you don't need it. When you get it, that means you were meant to have it. So be patient and wait well. So I just want to encourage you.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Help Myself Podcast. I am excited to have my friend, my sister, my co-host, but she's way more than that. She is an amazing and mighty woman of God. She's a ministry lead at her church, God Chasers of San Antonio, Texas. She is a published author. And like I said before, she is a co-host on the best podcast that plays music and has conversations, They Jammin. But as I've gotten to know her, she's just an awesome and amazing person. And on this Women's Month, we want to celebrate LaTwana Taylor, aka LT.
Let's go.
Not the Jamaican horn. We do that on there every time. Like I'm gonna mess around and edit that in there. I'm gonna edit that in there. So how are you today?
I'm good. I'm blessed to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. When you first told me, I was like, what? Me? Me? But yeah, I'm super excited to be here. So thank you again for extending the invite.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm gonna have to be judicious with the mute button, man, because LJ is on DJ mode tonight. So
Okay.
oh, he's jamming. That song that A-Tay played on the last episode, oh, he in love with it. The
Oh, that's
second one.
good.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I've been
yeah.
hearing that all week. So yeah, he
Uh-huh.
playing that all week. But no, and another thing that I did want to mention in the intro, and I didn't talk about it, is every week we do a section called LT's Wisdom, man. And yo, you be dropping them. Like,
Thank
I
you.
think Wise should really just be one of the, man, you energetic, you charismatic, you come with all of the shenanigans, you match our energy well, but you also kind of keep us straight. Like, we'll go way off on a tangent, you'll bring us back home. But the thing about it is the wisdom that is so applicable to life. Like, you're not, oh, I'm wise and I'm so deep, but you're wise. And it's like, dang, yeah, that hit me right where I'm sitting. And man, we appreciate that blend. So let me tell you why I wanted to have you on the podcast. So obviously, we wanted to put a focus on the amazing women that I know that are making history, that are breaking down the barriers. But just through the time that we've known each other, and just so obviously we read the book. The author, she's the author of this book. Oh, this is an amazing book. I'm gonna definitely link y'all to it. Y'all, there's 17 pearls from Mama. There's musical suggestions in there.
Yes, it is.
There are some amazing quotes, some that'll make you laugh out loud. And listen, there's a meme or a gif out there that said, the dude says, yeah, I cried, thug tears. Like, I cried. This book really hit me, in the fields, and I recognize a couple places because I'm familiar with Jayville. We was out there at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base and New Bern and Jayville with the brand new Chili's that they had built in 2011.
Yeah, sounds about right. I'm telling y'all, I think it was 2012 and they had just got that Target. I was like, now y'all are kidding me. Okay, a Target. Oh my gosh, where is the civilization around
I'm
here?
telling you. People here in Jacksonville, they think Florida. Some people even think Arkansas, right around the Little Rock area. But no, we talking about North Carolina.
North Kakalaki.
It's an adventure out there, for real.
It's something. I ain't gonna call it an adventure, but it's
something.
Let me not talk about these people's city. My bad, y'all.
I know, right? We ain't here to talk about you, not the people in that little town. You know what I'm saying? So, when we get to having this conversation, I think I really want to talk about, as much as you're willing, about this book, because it's not just a book. It's so different. Like, you open it up, you share your mother with us, then you share, like going through this is going to answer so many of the questions that I normally answer. Your resiliency story was your, like, this book really takes us there. Like, you really opened up. It's such I hear you talking as I read this, but like, I hear your voice. And, that was something that an author, Rachel Rogers, she was talking about that. She said, like, you can feel it in my book. This isn't AI. This is my voice. And I was like, that's what I feel when I read that, is I feel your voice. Your heart is supremely evident in it, and your wisdom is just bouncing in and out of it. Listen, you was telling me about when you talk about dude that you used emotionally. Yeah, and I'm not trying to put that out there, but I'm just saying.
It's fine. It was not true.
Oh, man. So totally listen. That's a life lesson and a bar. Like, what?
It is. I was super intentional about how I wrote this book. And I think a lot of it really started off. I apologize if y'all can hear my dog barking at me, but apparently he has to go to the bathroom. He's just gonna have to be all right, because right now I'm on the Help Myself podcast. Okay,
hey, I got editing capabilities, so like if you got to jump up, well, I got you. I got you.
We're gonna just let him bark for now. But anyway, I was super intentional about how I wrote this book, and so much so that the way that it started off, honestly, is I would be in restaurants and a thought would come to my mind, and I would literally just write everything down on whatever it is that was in front of me. I mean, paper plates, napkins, my skin, like it didn't matter. Like, if it was in my head, I needed to get it out. And all of that, over like a couple different notebooks in my life, I just put it in a book format. But what I was really intentional on is making it practical, right? Making it real life, making it so that somebody, a regular old Joe Smo like me, could read it and be like, hey, I feel that. I've been there. I've done that. And so that was super. I mean, when I say intentional, like I asked the Lord, hey, if at any point this starts to feel not like me or unreal, please stop me. Like, give me, don't even let the words flow out, because I want to be real. I don't want anything fake in this. I want to be as real and transparent as possible. So that's what you hear. And that's what and I do say here, I meant to say here, because when you're reading it, you do hear, especially if you know me. If you don't, you can still kind of, feel a little of the things, but like, if you know me, you can hear me. And I was super grateful, because that was one of the first things people started to say, was that I heard your voice. I heard your heart in that. I heard your hurt. I heard all those things. And so I was super grateful when I heard that.
And let me clarify this for anybody that's listening and for all of the people that are listening and watching. We just jumped right into it. The book is called Pearls from Mama. Yes. And she's giving us 17 pearls from her mother and taking us through the journey. She lost her mother at the age of 25. And obviously she doesn't look like she's much older than 25 right now, but glory be to God.
Glory be to God.
That was over a decade ago. But she's sharing her journey. And the first part, she shares her mother intimately. Like I say this, people that know you, this is one of those things, like if somebody say they got your book, but if you've read this book, you learned some stuff about you.
You did. You learned some personal things about me, actually.
Yeah. So like you can't fake the funk and act like you read the book, because there's some stuff in here, like, when you were talking about bacon, egg, and chorizo, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. So
those memories still catch me today. But yeah, you got to read the book, y'all, to understand what we're talking about right here.
Look, it's one of those kind of reads, man. Like, not only do you write a book, but just right in the middle, you give us a masterclass on emotional intelligence. Like, look, you gonna get your bang for the buck. I don't care if this book was $100; it's worth twice as much, because this is a good book. What I have found in my journey with grief is that, let's just be real, Black women have helped me process and use my grief for a positive in such a transformational way. And I proudly add you to that list, the tools that you've given me to use my grief for a bigger and better purpose. Candace Marie Bimbo of Red Lip Theology, she said something that struck me. She said, grief isn't, it doesn't hit you randomly or anything. She said, grief has ultimate integrity, because it continues to make you remember. It continues to make you process. It continues to challenge you to feel the love and those feelings that you have for the person. So grief has the ultimate integrity. And this book is that quote or that phrase personified, that, the integrity that you show and the integrity of your grief to take us through that. So it's just an amazing, amazing, amazing book. Like, y'all got to get it. Y'all got to get it. Matter of fact, I'm feeling the way, man. I might sponsor somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Come on,
hit the inbox. Hit the inbox.
Another one. So let's go.
Hit the inbox. Let me know. I'll put something on here on the intro and the outro. We'll do something. Do something. Yeah. So talk to us a little bit more about, the experience, the process, and, where you are still today after writing this book, because you working on another one now, and we waiting Stevie J hands.
Okay. Like I said, I kind of talked about the process in the beginning. There wasn't, this profound thing that I did and was like, oh, I'm going to write a book today. No, it was gradual. It was over time. It was lots of me putting things off and the Lord tapping on my shoulder like, nah, girl, what you have, people need. And I've heard that from him probably a good 15 times before I actually got serious about writing this book. And so, I went through a lot of this. Who wants to hear from me? People lose their moms every day, all day. So what makes yours so special? I went through a lot of that. And finally, I really just had to get to a place where I felt like, um, I'm not here just to talk. I'm not here just to listen to myself, talk. I truly do have a story that needs to be told that can truly help other people. And because of that, I was so convicted by that I had to say something. I had to write something that I knew people that I've met over the years could really relate to. And I was convicted by that. And I just had to write it. I just had to write it. And that's what I did. Um, it, I, I thought that writing a book was going to be really, really expensive. It is not. It is not. You can do it. And so if you just, sidebar, if you want to write something, I tell people this all the time, please reach out to me. I will help you get your voice heard. I will help you with all the formatting, all the editing. I'll help you with all of that, because if you have something to say, you're not just out here just to say something. Like, let me help you get there. And so yeah, that's a little tidbit on the side. But I wrote this book and it healed me. It completely healed me. It of course I have moments where I miss my mom like a normal person, right? But
Never will go away.
yeah,
Right.
never will go away. But this book healed me,
Hmm.
because I had to tap into places that I had shut off, in order to tell the real truth, right? Um, in this book, you will get the entire truth. You will get my authentic self. You will get my genuine feelings. Um, and there were parts where I had to take out because I had to protect my testimony, right? But you still get the realness. And I think that's super important for writers, because how else will we know what truly happened and what I can expect if you're not honest with me? And so I was super intentional about that, about honesty for sure.
Oh yeah. Listen, and I do get it. There are people out there that exist for the purpose of trying to find your dirt and magnify it, because somehow or another I don't know what they get out of it, but somehow or another they get something out of that. But I promise you, reading this book, you talk about, you know, the roller coaster ride that we've all gone through, and grief and just all the things. And there wasn't a moment that I read any of those that it ever took me away from the direction that you were taking me on this journey. They were just interesting, you know, parts of the journey, but it never made me think, oh my God, she said this, and that. Probably because, I did all of that and more, but
Yeah, I
you know what I'm
understand
saying?
myself. Mhm.
My house is real glass, so I try not to be throwing rocks because,
Same. That's
yeah.
exactly why I wrote the way that I did. Because listen, anything I have that I can help the next person, why not, man? Why not? And so that's why I wrote it the way that I did. And it's very plain English. I'm not in here, talking about wherefore art thou, or huge big words. It's very like understandable and just plain old English, like tell it to me straight. And that's what this book has. It's just, you know, easy. It's an easy read. It's an easy read. And one of my favorite things about the book is that um when I write, I tend to listen to music, and I have a
And the
playlist.
music notes in it, man, loved it.
Playlist in here that I would interject in between me writing. I would, put what song I was listening to while I was writing this particular chapter. And at the end of the book, I do have a full playlist of everything that I was listening to during that time. So check it out. It's amazing. I'm saying that because it actually is. It's a really dope playlist. So
I'm
yeah.
gonna warn y'all, she gonna start us off with Maverick City. That's the first song that so I had to warn y'all, like she gonna take you all the way out very early on in the book. Like she didn't come like, with nothing. Toot. No, she came with it. I
Yeah.
was like, man. So no, listen, you said, hey, I didn't think my story, I didn't think, and I hear that.
Mhm.
And I'm looking at you like, but that inspires me to push a little bit, because I do believe that sometimes in our humility, like we don't understand our impact. And so
Right.
when you think about, or in reference to your experiences and where that's taking you, like how does that push you as you lead at God Chasers and as you lead in the workplace and as you lead in your personal relationships? Let's talk about that.
So I had not reached my full potential, and I still have yet to reach my full potential. But
Whoa, everybody watching knows, be like, look at that. She got the governor on her. She pulling back. But anyway, I'll be quiet now.
I had not when I was writing, that piece of my book where I talk about how I felt like I wasn't even worthy to tell my story. I had not reached even half of where I am now. Mentally, emotionally, I had not reached it. And so, of course, I couldn't see past what I was looking at in the mirror right then and there. I couldn't see past that, even despite people telling me, like, I just couldn't. All I saw in the mirror was a broken kid who didn't have her mom anymore. Right. And so it took time, it took devotion, it took faith in God to say, hey, no, that's a lie. And that is the enemy's tricks to make you feel that way, but that is not the truth. You do have to replace his lies with the truth. And the truth is that you are the head and not the tail, and that you are victorious in all things that you do because God will be there. And so once I started to really understand how much God loved me and that these things that I was going through was not by, coincidence, like there was purpose for it. And that purpose was for me to tell my story so that other people could see and could follow my footsteps and how to get out of it. And so once I reached that, boy, that opened up so many doors for me. I did start to lead in church. I did start to lead in the workplace. I really had to understand who I was in Christ first. And once I did that, boy, the enemy was upset. Okay, upset, and that's fine. Like I'm glad he is.
Oh, you and the enemy, it was up and stuck, huh?
Okay, exactly. Up and stuck. Absolutely. So I hope that answers your question, but that's where I truly felt like, I had to first figure out who LaTwana was, especially navigating through womanhood, right? Without my mom, navigating just through life, navigating through relationships, navigating through my spirituality. Like I had to do all of that. And at the time it felt like I was doing it alone because my mother was my best friend. And my dad too, definitely, still to this day, he's one of my best friends, but it's just different from a mom's perspective. Like moms just offer something different. And I didn't have that. So I had to go through it by myself, and so thankfully the Lord truly, truly, truly was by my side. And I got through it, and I'm here to tell my story today.
So there's an assumptive thing that I'm doing because I've read the book, you wrote the book, we know the contents, and we understand how you share her and that tagline, which is so on point, how losing her taught you how to live. Like, cause LT is living, y'all.
Yeah.
And but if you don't mind, I think I just want to ask, that you share a little bit about her with us for a little bit.
Yeah. So my mom was 15 when she had me. She was very young. She was mature, but she was young. And she was, married at 17. My dad joined the military, and she had to be a wife and a mother all at, before she was even 18. And that's tough. Because you haven't had a chance to develop yourself. You don't even know who you are, but you know that you have responsibility. And she knew that very early on. And I say this in my book also, but I am so incredibly thankful that my mother and my father never passed me off to anybody. I was never passed off to like a grandma or anything. And it's no disrespect to anybody who that has happened to. It's just for my parents, coming from where they came from, it was very easy for them to do that, and they did not. And for me, I'm grateful for that. But yeah, my mom was beautiful. She was, and I'm not saying that because she's my mom, but she was stunningly beautiful. And she had a heart of gold. She was sweet as pie. she could not dance like for the life of her. And it was just like we used to always like just make fun of her for this. She could not dance, but she loved to dance and she loved to sing. She couldn't do that either. But she was just sweet, man. And she was like everyone's mom. Being the fact that my mom was so young, we had this running joke in our family that I grew up with my parents because they were so young, when they had me. But she was very nurturing. She was the most nurturing woman I have ever met in my life. She would, if you even look like you needed something, she's like, hey, how can I help? She was that kind of person, and not just mom. She was that kind of person. How can I help type of person? And she will do anything for anybody. She was just really, really sweet, very genuine, very loving, very kind, sometimes to her detriment. But, I've gotten into many arguments behind my mama. Okay. And I still stand by that.
Okay.
Still stand by that.
You stand on it. I
Yes,
got you.
because I am definitely my father's child. However, like I just didn't, I didn't play very much when it came to her because I knew how loving and kind she was. I knew people took her for granted. And so anyway, she was very real with me. She did not have her mother in her life. And so I was super impressed with her growing up. Like after I got a chance to just sit back and realize who I had as a mother, I realized that she took not really having her mom in her life and turned it around. She didn't do the same. She literally said, no, I'm going to be different. And I'm going to make her feel like she never had any lack. There was never any lack in her life when it comes to me being her mother. And she did that so well. And I say this today, like, I don't know how I'm going to emulate this when I have my kid, but I'm going to try. I feel like it's just going to all like come, right? It's just going to naturally come. I hope
all of us that know you, we don't have no doubts. No, we know you got this. Yeah. You got it.
Well, y'all say a little prayer because sometimes I don't be knowing.
Just because we confident don't mean that we ain't praying now. Confidence does not mean foolish. Like, yeah, but no.
She was beautiful, man. And she always had these little dope sayings. Like, and if you, in my book, I have like 17 different either common phrases that she said to me over my life or things that she said that I just have always remembered and things that have stuck with me. And so I call them my pearls. And I have those in the book, but there's just certain things that she would always say to me. Like one of the things is like, make sure your panties and your bra match because you never know.
When I tell you, your husband might be the EMT that saved you.
Yes.
I hollered when I saw
Listen. And she was dead serious, y'all. Never practiced.
Man.
She was dead serious. Make sure the things match, okay? Make sure. It got to a point where, like, before I was like probably around 13 or 14, like she was still checking to make sure everything was together. Like, and I'm telling y'all to this day, boy, I am very keen on that. This is probably TMI, but I am making sure that I'm not out here mismatching. Okay.
Listen here, ladies, some advice. You never know the simple things. Yeah. Your emergency technician might see. That might be.
That might be
your husband might be the EMT.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a pearl.
That is a pearl. It's definitely a pearl. One that I stand by.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Okay, so your mom, obviously, but you say your dad's your best friend. Let's talk about Pops.
Sure.
Talk about Pops. You talk about Pops a lot, but
I do. My dad is so cool, man. He's he's not quiet, but he's also not very like loud. He said when he says something, he's saying something. I'll just say it like that. He's very dapper. He loves to dress. He loves the finer things in life. He is definitely, old school. Like he's just picture, somebody in like a speakeasy with a nice suit on with like a glass of cognac and, just laid back a little bit. That's my dad. Like, he's just super cool and chill. He really is. He loves to dance.
Do y'all see that? Like, it's cool having a son, but that make me want to go have a daughter so she could speak about me like that. Did you see the glow? Like, she looked like Bruce Leroy on The Last Dragon. I've got the glow.
Yes. Yeah, he's really cool, man. He really is. He was in the military for years upon years. I think 22 years is what he did. So he retired from the military. He is definitely your typical military man, still very fit, still waking up at 4:30 in the morning. Still expecting so much discipline from his 37-year-old daughter. Like, yeah, he's just, he's a character for sure. Yeah, still popping up at my house whenever he feels like it, because yeah, he's that dad.
He gonna pop up, huh?
Yep.
That's one of the benefits of living out of town, because I know my mom would pop up if she was here in DC with me. She would pop hilarious. Up, but yeah, no, I hear you on that. You gotta check in. You gotta check in. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, because I do. I appreciate my dad. He's dope. We talk about my mom often. We really do. That was his best friend. That was his ace. So it's all love. It really is.
All love. Let's all love. Now, you indicated that also some of your biggest influences were your pastors.
Yeah. So I talk about them in my book a little bit because the way that I started off this book was me finishing my mom's book. She started a book when she was in chemo. Just those of you that don't know, we really didn't say it. We made a lot of assumptions. I apologize. My mother passed away from breast cancer. She was 36 when she was diagnosed. Her doctor actually had never treated a patient that young. And just 4 and a half years into that, she passed away. So she didn't have it very long. It was super aggressive, but she was actually in her last round of chemo. She was writing a book about her experience. And I had bought her this laptop just the Christmas before. And I thought, let me just, like, after she passed away, let me just pick up where she left off. Yeah, that was not what I did at all. And I was spinning, like, trying to figure out how I was going to do this. And I had took my pastors out to lunch one day, and I just said, hey, how do I do this? And they were like, well, have you ever considered that, like, you were never meant to tell her story, but to tell yours? And I was like, well, duh, Latwana, like, what? So that's how, I kind of just started to formulate the things that I had already had written and just put it together so that it was from my point of view and not hers. So yeah, my pastors are super dope. They are like, my second set of parents, honestly. It's so funny watching them because they don't have daughters. So, watching them navigate having a bonus daughter is interesting. But it's
man, don't be super secretive. Shout their names out, man.
Yeah, Dante and Tabitha Banks. I love you guys.
Dante and Tabitha Banks.
Yes. So yeah, I love doing ministry with them. That's my favorite part, right? Is doing ministry with them. They lead an incredible church, and I am just happy to be in the room. Honestly, I'm happy to be in the room. I'm happy that they chose me or they trusted me, with their sheep. So I'm super grateful for that.
We are too, because we are reaping the benefits. Listen, I'm gonna get you. We do this every time now, but I appreciate you coming in and really telling your story. There's so much more we could get into, but I think you still in that zone of, well, I'm just me and not doing that, and not knowing how dope you are. Like, you are amazing.
Thank you.
I would like to ask you to leave us with at least one, but if you want to do 2 or 3 pearls from your mom, and then leave us with a parting thought. Some LT's wisdom.
Wow. Just gonna throw that in there. Huh?
Hey, I do what I do. You know what I'm saying?
I just turned to my book and that wisdom, the pearl about the undergarments. I just saw it. Woo, that is funny to me. I know she up there laughing.
Crack it up.
Yes.
Crack it up.
I told y'all how sweet my mom was. One of the things she used to say is like, be nice, because nobody gets hurt when people are nice. And it's so simple, right? But people aren't very nice all the time, right? So it's sad that we have to say that, but I'm saying it. Be nice. No one gets hurt when people are nice. Another thing that she used to say to me, because, unfortunately, as a teenager, I used to get like bullied a little bit, but she would be like, well, Latwana, if you know the truth about you, who else matters? And I would just be like, okay, mom, whatever. But as I got older, like, I truly like, that made sense. Like, it just made sense. Like, nobody else knows who you truly are but you. But in order for you to know that truth, you got to know who you are also. And that has stuck with me for a long time. But I think the biggest thing that she taught me in life was to choose happiness, to choose joy. I was, a regular teenager. I had mood swings. I was, moody at 16 years old. And I remember one day she came into my room and she was waking me up for school, and she turned on the light and she was singing and, doing the most in the morning. And she was like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is this attitude you got going on? And I was like, nothing. Like, I just was kind of, lackadaisical with it. Wasn't really paying her any mind. And she was like, hey, I want you to know that, like, you have a choice every single day. You have a choice every single day to choose joy, to choose happiness, to make sure that you are spreading love and not spreading this little nasty attitude. She's like, and do know that whatever you choose, that's going to change the trajectory of your whole day. So how do you want to go throughout this day? And so every now and then she would get this little like, all right, we cool and all, but I'm also your mama and I will get into you. So let's not even go there. Right. So,
well,
she, when she said that to me, like, I remember, again, I was 16 years old. And I didn't comprehend that. Right. Like, I didn't comprehend that until I got older and was like, man, sometimes like the way that we carry ourselves is so impactful to other people and we don't know that. Right. And so if I'm going to be impactful to someone, I want to impact them in a positive way. I don't want to impact them in a negative way. And so I'm going to choose joy. I'm going to choose happiness. I'm going to choose to make sure that whatever I'm putting out in this world is good. And that's what I want to leave y'all with. Like, choose goodness in this world. It's so easy to choose, to have an attitude or to choose to talk about people or to just be rude. Like, that's easy stuff. But man, the hard stuff is when you're just saying, no, I'm not going to follow with what everyone else is doing. I'm going to be me and I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be nice on purpose. I'm going to spread love and joy. So do that. Do more of that, everybody. Okay. All right.
I was just sitting back. I was like, cook, LT, cook. She was cooking, y'all. Listen.
Do more of that, man. Yeah.
And at this point, we are going to pass around our collection plate. You can go to the.
I mean, I got a cash app, so I mean.
Right? Hey, tip jar, tip jar, tip jar.
Yes.
Before you go, obviously, we want to put this up here because, again, we want to encourage people to go pick up the book.
Yes.
It's available on Amazon.
It is. And if you guys are into audiobooks, I did do an audiobook and it is in my voice. So you get to see and hear all the things that I'm saying in my voice. So please check that out as well. It is on Amazon too.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Big time. Big time.
Audiobook. I listen, I'm here for all the people. Okay. For all of them.
Okay, so
a soft copy, a hard copy, an audio book, I got it. What's up?
And if people just want to follow you and vibe with you,
yes,
is that an option for them?
That is an option. So Texas Bella Marie is my personal. My book page is Pearls for Mama. All one word. And then of course I am on Facebook as well, Latwana Taylor. So yeah, I'm excited.
Follow, pick up the book, do all of that. LT, thank you for
course.
taking some time out. And it's crazy because, obviously with us, this ain't goodbye. This is, all right, we're going to be recording later on in the week.
Exactly.
But I appreciate you coming and blessing the platform, man. Listen, you inspired me. So I know that inspiration is going to emanate out to everybody that hears, listens, watches, all of that.
I hope so. Thank you so much for doing this. Like, you're very woman
duplicitous.
No, like you really do get down with women, and I appreciate that. And it's not fake, right? Like sometimes people just try to fake put on that they, that they're. I don't want to go as far to say that you're a feminist, but I do feel like you are for women, right? And I appreciate that, and I love that about you. Like you are like, hey, no, let's give women their props. Like there are good ones out here, and so I appreciate you for like this platform.
So many good ones. What? No, I'll tell you what, the little secret sauce, man. I grew up, there were really no men around when I was growing up. So I watched women do all of the things. And I was still a knucklehead and had those patriarchal mindsets. So it took personal growth. But for
whatever reason you got there, and I appreciate it for sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yay. Well, everybody go follow. Listen to this one. Go grab the book.
Yes.
And I'm going to put something in the intro. I got to figure out how to do it because I don't want to accidentally say something and be on the hook for buying 1,000 books. I had to skip rent for 1 month to buy all the books or something. But make sure you go support. And again, thank you so much. And we'll see you later on in the week to record, okay?
Yeah, I'll see you.
And now, was that not an amazing interview? Again, we want to thank LT. That's fam right there. We want to thank her so much for agreeing to come and to share her story. I want to encourage you to go pick up the book, Pearls from Mama, from Amazon.com, audio version available. So pick that up. I said maybe I would sponsor somebody. You know what? Go follow me on IG at JONMSINGLETARY. And I'll put out some information about sponsoring somebody or maybe a few somebodies to get that book. So go follow me. Make sure you follow me. And again, we're so grateful. I know that it's April, but this ain't April Fools. We keeping it real here. We want to continue to highlight amazing people with amazing stories that are doing amazing things. And so I'm going to close like I always do. Listen, I can't help myself. Got to inspire. I've got to encourage. I've got to empower. But I can't help myself by being the absolute best version of myself. And you can too. So why not we do it together?